Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jasmine. This is yours and mine, and today we're going to be talking about relationships, more so cheating, but especially the same category. And I have a guest with me today, so this episode is going to be probably like 10 minutes longer. But you want to introduce yourself?
I am Butovis. I am
the boyfriend.
The boyfriend, yes.
Perfect episode to bring you in on.
Yes, of course.
And you also have your own podcast.
I do. My podcast name is What a Man. It is about just exploring the topics of society. So please check it out. Listen to it.
Go support him. Pretty much on every platform mine is on. So you can listen on anything. And like you said, it's about, I think is it for men or is it just about manly stuff?
It's not about manly stuff. It's more about how we as men need to grow and be better. But we also have to hold society to a standard for men as well, for women as well. And helping kids grow and be better.
All right. So if that sounds interesting, definitely go support his podcast. That would be great. So anyway, what we're going to talk about, like I said, is relationships and cheating. But we're just going to go ahead and get into it by saying that the U.S. is like, well, I looked this up and everything was kind of saying something different. But it was kind of about the sixth highest divorce rate in out of everywhere. But it's not exact, but some website says different stuff, but it's like the sixth highest divorce rate. But I'm sure you can guess which is number one, which is Russia.
Russia, yeah.
I feel like that's pretty easy to guess.
That just sounds like a place where people just get married for a few days
and like, nope.
They get drunk and they're like, nah, Mother Russia said not this, not you.
Oh my gosh. And then the lowest is India. And for me, I didn't expect that, but then...
I mean, I kind of expected that because of arranged marriages and how it's...
I didn't know
in my opinion, it's probably very hard to get out of a marriage and
I just now learned that. I'm not really too up to date on cultures, which is pretty bad. And then the second lowest was Chile. I don't know anything about there either, but...
Yeah, me neither. I just know that it's in South America.
Yeah. That's all the information
That's
we have.
all we kind of know about Chile right now.
I want to go ahead and say, though, that none of this information is going to be, like, informational, like, or statistical. Like, none of this is solid, like, information once we get more into the episode. Like, a lot of this is just going to be our opinions and just kind of what we think about it. But if you want to know more, like, informational stuff, this is not the place to get that, I think. But anyway, also another factor I wanted to say is almost 50% of marriages end in divorce. I don't know if that's just in the U.S. or everywhere, but...
I don't know where it is. It's just, that just sounds awful.
So we're going to see if yours is one of those 50%. Hopefully not.
Oof.
But anyway, everybody knows that relationships are complex, very tricky things. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into the episode and say, why do you think people cheat?
I think people cheat because they're not ready to commit to one person. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot of excuses for why they're not. And like, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I was just so overwhelmed. I just felt like this or that. But it all comes down to that person just wanted somebody else.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. It's probably, what did you say? Because people want...
They just want other people too.
Yeah. You can't have your cake and eat it too, y'all. You can't do it. And also I have here, like, the effects on both people. What do you think the effects for both sides? Like, the cheater side, the effects on them, and then also the other person who got cheated on.
I feel like cheating probably is one of the worst drugs. I mean, I don't know about it because I've never cheated, but I feel like it would be a drug. Because once you start it, I would assume that it's very hard to stop cheating. Mm-hmm. And the other person, I would feel like, would feel about themselves, they would feel shitty. They would just feel awful. And they would feel humiliated and their self-esteem would just crash.
Yeah.
And they would never feel like they could trust anybody ever again in a relationship.
Yeah, I had thoughts on that before we recorded the episode. But now I forgot, and I had notes, and I did not bring them with me. But for me, I was thinking, like, the people who, like, get cheated on, I feel like that kind of ruins future relationships for them. Or not for ruins, but I feel like it puts, like, some kind of, you know, they're always going to, like, probably be thinking of that or feel that way or be scared of that in future relationships. I feel like that could affect it because then maybe it'd take longer for them to trust that person, and then that other person has to deal with them, like, not trusting them, even if they are trustworthy and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I also feel like it makes them look at themselves like something's wrong with them. I always hear that a lot. People say like, oh, like I got cheated on, something is wrong with me. And I don't know, I feel like that's probably a reason with all the after breakup glow ups that people be doing.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and a lot of the times, like, people will try and change stuff about themselves because they felt like, oh, okay, it was because of me.
Yeah.
But no, sis, no, bro, it was not because of you.
Yeah.
It was because that other person just wanted somebody else.
Yeah,
like,
but I feel like that's a really bad effect it can have on people, because that could probably carry throughout future relationships too. Like, oh, am I good enough? Do I look good enough? Is this what this person wants? And stuff like that.
And it also, in my opinion, impacts you getting somebody that's going to be good for you. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't allow people to come in, then you're pushing out every single person that comes into your life, and you can't trust them. You can't really fully appreciate that person because you always remember yourself getting hurt. And once you finally meet somebody that's good enough for you and you don't let that person in, they're going to at some point be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I feel like you probably have to take the time to get over that before you can really... I mean, I've never been cheated on either. I've never cheated either. So it's like, I don't really know what that would be like.
Me neither.
But I feel like you would have to take time to kind of recover from that before you went out to be with anybody else.
Like, I felt like it would just be devastating. Like, it would be devastating putting your heart, soul, and love into somebody, and for that person to be like, yeah, but I just wanted something else. Yeah,
for sure. And then I think the effects on the person who did cheat, do you think there's any effects on that person?
I feel like I see this a lot in movies, and I was just thinking about this earlier. Society is normalizing cheating. And I think in a way they're telling people that even if somebody cheats on you, if they still love you, it's okay.
Yeah, I feel like, especially with celebrities, because like people like look up to celebrities sometimes, and I feel like if they see somebody take back somebody who they said cheated on them, it's kind of showing people, oh, like if she does it, if he does it, then I can do it. Like it's okay because they're doing it. I look up to them, you know. So I feel like that kind of.
But one of the biggest questions we need to ask ourselves, and we need to realize, is it still love when somebody cheats on you? Can that person still be able to love you if they cross a line that should never be?
I don't know how to answer that.
I feel like there is never ever any excuse for cheating. And once you cross that line of knowing that you could lose this person forever by doing something like that, and you still do it, then you cannot say that you love that person.
Yeah. I feel like if you love somebody, that's something you would never do to them. Yeah. If you're actually, I mean, unless, I don't know if like loving somebody and being in love with somebody is two different things, but I mean, if we're classifying it as the same thing, then I feel like if you love somebody, that's like, you don't do that to somebody you actually love. No. If you ever like cheat on somebody, I feel like you've never actually loved that person.
No, for sure.
Like
not.
Deep down, you've never actually. You can say you do, but I feel like actually, like deep down, you don't.
You can't love that person if you did that. It's like your family member, right? You know something, if you do this, it'll put that person's life in danger. Yet you do it anyway. Can you say that you ever really care about that person's life if you knowingly did something to hurt that person?
Yeah, that's true. I also think, like, I don't know if this is an effect, but I think something with people who cheat, the actual person who cheated, I feel like they always, like, end up being like, oh, in the end, they always like, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I want you back, oh, like, you know, let me back in. But
regret.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, is regret. And wanting that person back and always wanting to come back. And if you don't let them people back in, y'all. Yeah. Don't let them back in.
That's why, like, I think it's a common thing for people to go back to exes and not move forward in life. I think it's because people always feel like there's a limited amount of options, because we all like to view the other gender, or just, I don't know if that's even right to say nowadays, but we always view the other gender as like, oh, okay, they're trash. You see, a lot of women view men as trash. A lot of men think women are this or that. And the thing about that is, but there's still like what, 3-4 billion women out there, probably 4 billion because there's more women than men. There's still 4 other billion women out there. There's still 3 or maybe 3.5 million men out there for all of these men and women to go and be with. You don't have to be around the same person. There is more fishes in the sea, like people like to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why people think that. I mean, I guess because that's what you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, I already know this person. I don't have to go learn about nobody. I don't have to go meet somebody new and like learn about their life, meet their family. So you're like, oh, well, I might as well.
I used to think that the reason why people don't like to just fuck around more than getting in relationships a lot is because they don't want to always take the time of learning other people. But then I just realized people just fuck other people because they want to have sex with other people. Yeah. It's not because they don't want to learn about them or they don't want to know about them. I think it's because people just want they desire sex more than they desire love and they desire romance nowadays. And it's putting people in a situation where they will cheat. Because if you're with a man, if you're with a woman that looks at other people and they're like, oh, like I want to do this to that person, and you write it off as that person just joking. Yeah. At first it starts with like celebrities. You see them talking about celebrities in a sexual way. And I know it's very difficult not to do that, especially if you're growing into a kind of society that makes it possible, that, you know, praises these celebrities like they're more than human, they're more than they're idols, you know what I mean? But the thing about that is, it doesn't stop there. Once you start looking at celebrities that way, pretty soon you're gonna look at everybody on the street that way. You're gonna see that person, you're gonna be like, oh, that person looks good. Like, oh, that person looks good. And when that adds up and you're always looking at people in a sexual way, then it's not that far of a jump to cheating. Yeah. It's not that far of a jump. People don't realize that. And they allow, like I've seen so many pictures of or videos of people walking together, and then the guy turns around and looks at this woman walking by. Yeah. Or the girl looks at this guy and is like, damn, that guy's hot. And then, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we don't think it's a big deal because it's like, it's okay if we're in a relationship and you're into like, you know, a certain type of people. Like, that's what society tells you. That's what people tell you, that, oh, like, you cannot control people. Like, you cannot tell people what they're into. You know what I mean? I see all sorts of different stuff. Like, I think the other day I was reading something and I saw it said, like, oh, like, if your partner is fantasizing about somebody else or anything like that, it's okay. Like, everybody does it. And, like, I don't know. I'd always see different stuff, different people's opinions about making different things okay. Like, sometimes people will be like, oh, like, if you're flirting with somebody, as long as you're not actually, like, you know, being physical with them, it's not cheating, it's not, like, harming your relationship at all. But I guess it's just everybody has different views about it. And I guess everybody's relationship is different because some people are comfortable with that, I think. I feel like how many times we're going to flirt with somebody until it crosses a line. Yeah. How many times we're going to flirt with different people until you're finally around a certain person that, you know, like, you feel like, okay, this person checks off certain boxes on my list. And next thing you know, it's more than just flirtation. Next thing you know, somebody's doing stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, especially if, like, say you go out alone and, you know, you're flirting with somebody for, like, the 6th time that week. And if they check all those boxes, then, you know, anything could happen. Anything could happen, for sure. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm always confused as to why people stay in relationships if they're going to cheat. Because it's like, if you're going to cheat on somebody, just tell them and leave. It's going to be a lot easier for both people, I think, for that other person and for you. Like, if that's something you know you want to do, if you know you don't want to just do stuff with this one person, you're interested in somebody else, then you should just break off the relationship rather than leading somebody on or telling them they're the only one or anything like that. And if you are a cheater out there, like, I'm going to say this, like, your life would be a lot easier than being in a relationship. Yeah. it's like, what benefits do you have of somebody breathing down your neck all the time?
Yeah.
When you can be single out there doing whatever you want, with nobody being on your back, having to worry about nobody telling you,
yeah.
oh, okay,
having to like hide your phone, or having to make up stuff, or having to tell them like they're the only one, and having to make up excuses,
having to lie, having to make up excuses.
It's like you could literally avoid all of that
and just go out there and do whatever you want.
And then you don't even harm the other person. That person is not going to have obviously if you break up with somebody, they're probably going to feel hurt, but it's not going to be as bad as if you were to cheat on them.
I guess people want to not just have sex, but they want to have a relationship at the same time.
Yeah.
But they don't want just one person. They want multiple people. And until they can find somebody that allows them to do that, then they can't really, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there, they want to find somebody that allows them to do whatever they want with that person not themselves getting into anything. Because it's like, they want to cheat on you, but they don't want you to be cheating on them.
That's that's such an impossible want.
Yeah, it's like, I want to cheat on you, but you can't cheat on me.
Unless you do some next level brainwashing.
Yes.
And whatever, I don't know anybody who's gonna agree to let you cheat on them, but they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I'll just have you. That's what I mean? Crazy. Like
if somebody really allows you to do that, you either really brainwash that person, or they don't care about you enough to,
or they don't care about their self enough, and you're just taking advantage of that,
or they just want something from you and they don't really care what you do. Because it's like, if I'm getting money from you and I don't care about you, I don't love you, you can do whatever you want. I'm getting paid. I'm going to get out of that relationship at some point. Why do I care? You know what I mean? And it's like, it's such a hard situation, because it's like, first of all, you have to get somebody that's going to approve of it. That person has to not be into doing it with anybody else but you. And at the same time, they have to be okay with you showing that kind of attention to other people.
Yeah. It's like, there's a solvent to that problem, and it's just by being in an open relationship.
It's a one-sided open relationship,
but
though.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Like that would be like being in it. Okay, see, look, I think this is the perfect solution for y'all who need this. Be in an open relationship with an asexual person. I think that solves the problem.
Oh, somebody that doesn't like having sex?
Yeah, and then just be in an open relationship.
But that person won't want to have sex with you, though.
Oh, right. I mean, if you don't mind not getting it from the person that you're with.
I guess.
Okay, we've ran into another problem. I thought I had it, but I feel like that's the closest you can get.
Maybe they just, I doubt somebody that just wants sex from people will actually want to get with somebody with just because of their personality.
That's true, because I feel like...
Because it's like, if you're asexual, you're not going to give me anything but
your personality
and yourself. You know what I mean? You're not gonna give me sex. So if I'm only looking for sex, then why do I even have to give it?
I think y'all are asking for too much.
I know.
You're asking for way too much.
I know.
Like, oh my gosh. But do you think there is a certain type of people that cheat? Like, do you think there's like a category? Like, you think there's certain kinds of people who cheat, or do you think everybody is has the possibility of being a cheater?
I don't think everybody has a possibility of being a cheater, because I don't like to be like, okay, people are just bad, people are just dead. Because I feel like it would be like me assuming things. It's like when the Catholic Church, or just religion itself, we used to all think that if you're left-handed, you must be evil. It's like, I don't like to assume things. Mm-hmm. It's like, there just happens to be people that are left-handed and commit murders. Like, I don't want to just put something that be like, okay, because it's like, if we get in that kind of line of thinking, then we will just assume that certain people are a certain way. And there are people out there that are really good, but they have certain traits about them that are bad. And if you don't give them a chance, then you're never going to fully be happy. You're never going to find that person for you, because maybe that person that's for you is not a good guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Maybe that person is a bad guy that's going to be a good guy. But there are lots of good guys out there that if you try to change them, it doesn't work out for you. So it's just about how the world works. You know what I mean?
So you don't think there's a certain You do think there's a certain like group, like type of people that are more likely to cheat?
I think not everybody cheats or will have a tendency to cheat, but I think you can see the signs in people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily look the same in everybody. It doesn't necessarily like mean that okay, a certain group of person, like, because I know that a lot of people will say that like black men cheat more, and I mean, I've heard reports or certain things that say that like black men have more testosterone than all other men, and which in turn makes them cheat more. And I've heard a lot of things of like, but that doesn't mean that if you're in a relationship with a Hispanic guy, that Hispanic guy won't cheat on you. Yeah. That doesn't mean if you're in a relationship with, you know, a German guy or all these other nationalities or, you know, races that they're not gonna, it doesn't lower your chance. And I don't want to be like, oh, okay, like don't get in a relationship with this because it's false. Because I don't want to give false information and tell you that like these certain types of people will do it. And the next thing you know, you go in a relationship with somebody and that person's good to you and you're like, yeah, that person's going to cheat on me because that person's black. And
but you're like, oh, if I find me a white guy, I'll probably be set. I'll probably be good. Like, I most likely won't get cheated on. But I don't know how true that is. Like, I think, like, I don't think just a certain race. Like,
no, not a certain race, not a certain group of people. Yeah. I think you can just see the traits in people.
Yeah, I think if they go off, like, the traits.
I think one of the many traits is if that person sexualizes everybody, like if they're like if they meet somebody and the first thing they notice is the person's physical attributes, and and they're like, okay, this person's got, you know, like nice looking feet or something. If they got some foot fetish, I don't know, something like that. Damn, them toes looking extra crusty for me. I'd like to suck on them. No, you know, something like that. Like if they notice, if the first thing they notice is the person's attributes, they don't notice the person's personality or anything like that. That tells you that that person's focused on one thing and one thing only. Yeah.
Or they're focused on like what they're wearing, or you know, what they can see with what they're wearing or something like that.
Yeah, like. If that person's only focused on that, you can tell that that person in a way wants that.
Yeah. Or I think also another one is like the things you do. Like if you're always like going out to parties and like clubs or anything like that, I feel like that's something else that can like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Lead to that, or like a trait.
Because I feel like one of the things that I wanted to talk on my podcast is that a lot of women feel like they can't find the right man out there. Yeah. But it's because they're looking in the wrong places. Yeah. You cannot go to a strip club, nightclub, all these things, kind of, you know, places and think you're gonna find the right guy.
Yeah. There. Like if you're with somebody, I don't want to just say a man because I want it to be both sides, but. Okay, we're just gonna say if you're with somebody and you always find them wanting to go to parties without you, or you know they're always out with their friends and they don't want to ever spend time with you, and like anything like that, I feel like that's a sign. And like you can just see signs. I don't feel like it's just gonna be random.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be in the habit of saying that, you know, people shouldn't take their time in a relationship, because I do think that if you make a commitment to that person and you know that person is going to be with you forever, then it doesn't matter when you get married. You know what I mean? I mean, if it's in that outrageous like 10 years, then I'm sorry, okay, that's weird. But if that person's like, okay, like we'll wait 5 years before we get married, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I do think that if somebody doesn't even want to move in with you after 5 years of dating, then there's something definitely weird about that.
Or they're not introducing you to the people they know.
Yeah, to their families, to their friends. They don't want to bring you around.
Like they try to hide you and stuff like that.
But they tell you, no, like, I just don't want people to know about my business. But if we get married, isn't your family going to come to our wedding? Isn't your friends going to come to our wedding? You know what I mean? Like, who is it? The people that you're trying to hide me from are the same people that if we get married will be there. So if you want to make a long-term commitment to me, wouldn't that mean that you're also showing these people that I'm a part of your life forever? Yeah. And if that person doesn't do these things, it can mean I mean, I'm not saying that they have to do it right away, because
Yeah.
everybody has their time. Like, they need their time to process things the way they should. Sometimes you might be dating somebody for a few months or a year, and you're just still finding out more about that person. Maybe you don't fully know if that person is bring home quality yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't really struck it out yet. Like, love doesn't always happen at first sight. Love can take time.
Yeah.
And you gotta give people time to figure things out on their own. But if that time is taking 5 to 10 years to figure that out, if you wanna be with that person for the rest of your life, don't waste any more time. Like, don't think that that person is gonna be good for you or not.
But anyway, the last thing I wanted to say is you're also not entitled to stay. Like, you don't have to stay with somebody. I don't know if I was kind of going for the person who's being cheated on or the cheater, but I think you can apply to either one. Like, you don't have to stay. You should, like, if you're the one who's cheating, you should not stay with that person. If you're one being cheated on, you don't have to stay with that person. Like, I don't know, maybe sometimes if people are if somebody is offering you money in the relationship, I feel like some people would, like, most likely stay, even, like, regardless of what's happening to them.
Yeah, that happens in marriages.
Yeah, but I feel like pretty much, like, you don't have to stay. If you feel like you're getting cheated on, if they're not being open with you, if they don't want to show you certain stuff, tell you certain stuff, share certain stuff with you, you don't have to stay, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. I think people are so used to, people want romance, but they also want sex. And I think people are so used to movies and all of these music and all these things talking about sex and love like it's one and the same. But if you want love, it has to be with that person that you like. If you want sex and love, it has to be with one person. Unless you're different, I don't know. Like, unless you want more, you know.
Yeah.
I won't judge you if you are the kind of person that wants to only have sex. You don't want to be in a relationship. That's your decision to make. But once you get love, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of society is trying to normalize cheating, because I see so many movies of people cheating and then getting back together, and then that's romance. Like, how is that romance?
Yeah, we can't listen to Hollywood.
We cannot listen to Hollywood, because if we listen to Hollywood, we'll get into these relationships that are awful. We're gonna get with people that are gonna treat us like absolute crap. And then we're gonna be like, oh, it's okay as long as that person says they love me, as long as they apologize, then that means they won't do it again.
Yeah, like, there's no need to settle with so many people out in the world. Like, there is too many people in this world to settle for like a no good situation.
Yes.
But anyway, I want to go ahead and close this episode by giving some, closing a takeaway. What's some takeaways from this episode?
For me, the takeaway is, don't force the situation. Don't force love. If you see many red flags in a person, do not stay in that relationship.
I think for me, my takeaway is that if you know you don't want to be with only that person, and you're interested in other people, you're looking at other people a certain way, and you're starting to notice that you want something else, I feel like you should just end that relationship. Don't put that person through that.
Or talk to your partner. Tell them that.
I mean, or that, because I feel like maybe
if that person is the kind of person that's like, oh, that's okay.
Like, maybe that would work. But I feel like there is no excuse for cheating. It should not be done. And if you want to cheat on somebody, you just end the relationship. Don't be with that person. Don't put them through that pain and everything. So that is my takeaway. I think this concludes the episode. So, like we said at the beginning, if you want to go check out his podcast, it's called What a Man.
Yes.
On all platforms.
Please do.
But anyway, this is Yours and Mine. I'm Jasmine, and thank you for listening.